What's good, family? It's your boy Jay Rello, aka damn it, Luna, what's the line? Your favorite YouTuber that you haven't heard about yet. And we're here for my intro for my build video in the build video series for next gen. I was lucky enough to get a PS5, guys, which is awesome, but sadly everyone else is struggling, and I struggle until I was able to get mine. With that being said, I don't have anybody to play with right now. And in the parks, it's a real struggle trying to get games going when you don't have as many people in a specific area or having your friends even come and go and play games with. So with that being said, if you know the YouTube, you know the gamer tag. Add me, guys, so we can go and I can have more people to play with, which will make content generally easier, and it's just a good time. Also, my goal is over the year to get as many people as in the friend groups and stuff like that to try and just get parks completely loaded so no one's running away from games, no nothing like that. When you want to come hoop, if you load up in one of my parks, ideally there'll be games going the whole time. With no further ado though, the briefing on this video is there's new things in this set of Builder that wasn't in last 2K, which is awesome. There's no pie charts, and there's some other things that are completely different in how it goes down. I'm just going to give a briefing on each of the sections and a little bit about it, talk about some stuff that you can look at and fine-tune on your own, as well as some stuff that I've already figured out that can kind of help make you guys a easier chance to save some money and not have to spend as much VC on making a bad build. Later today, I'm going to release, in my opinion, the best build that I found so far. This year, just a future heads up, power forward or the broken build for the year. They get more badges and they can still keep the attribute points as well. So it's not just a badge build or just an attribute build. You get the best of both worlds. Without further ado though, guys, I'm gonna get you guys right into the video. Just want to say hello. If you get a chance, like, subscribe, get entered into the contest, and look forward to seeing y'all soon. Peace. All right, guys. As stated earlier, I'm just kind of going to go through, give a briefing on each of the areas, as well as kind of the stuff that's going on with the new builder in each category. I'm going to detail just a little bit of base things you can look on your own before you go and do some more detailed research, or before I go and break it down a little bit more in each video. I just kind of want to take the time to go through and give the basis, kind of the spark notes of each category. That way, on your own, when you go to look for stuff, this might save you a little bit of time on something that might have already been figured out by somebody on their own in comparison to you having to figure it out on your own. So with that being said, I'm just going to go with the base build, and we're going to go with the point guard, hand in this, jersey number. All that is identical from last year. It looks really familiar. Here, with the next step as we move forward, is where you go and see your next big change, and this is where I was talking about it being one of the key points of being a different set in the builder in comparison. So on last 2K, or on current gen as it was referred to, when you would go through and make your build, obviously you went through and your weight and wingspan were kind of a later category. So you would go and have at the end, you would notice that your guys' arms, when you maxed them out, you'd see the categories and all that stuff fall down. Well, the cool thing is this year, you go and set up your caps or your minimums on stuff from doing it from here. Each of the categories, as you notice, moving up and down is kind of the same as last year, when, you know, your wingspan when it's stressed out helps on defense and stuff like that as well. Height-wise, you got a minimum of 5'7", and then we're still looking at the max of 6'8". You can go through and adjust these to kind of figure out what you're looking for and stuff as well. One of the things I will tell you is based off of your height and your position, it still might go and determine what badges you can get. So for example, if you're a guard, to get Hall of Fame quick first step, no matter what, like I'll go right here, we'll just do 5, you have to be under 6'3" in order to get Hall of Fame quick first step, on top of putting the categories for it. So we'll just do that, but here's kind of what I meant on that. So as we move forward in each of your categories, this year where it's different in comparison to last year on current gen, you had attribute points that you had to go and get based out. On your pie chart, some would have more, some would have less. This time around, it's completely based off of your overall. Your overall, what you're trying to do is get a guy's overall filled out until he's a 95. Each category, the points are kind of weighted differently. Like when you see we're going up from 25 to 95, so that'd be 70 essential attribute points, and you see the overall increase 10 as well. Well, if I come down here to post control, for example, and you see how some of the stuff ends up being weighted a little bit different potentially and how that works out. But the main thing is in each category you do, when you go and put it towards it, you'll notice down below, it says 0 potential badge points, but you'll notice that I have a handful of purple badges or available purple badges, which are the Hall of Fame. With Hall of Fame badges, it means that you have an ability to get that badge up to that level. You would not be able, for example, on this right here, to get back down Punisher. You wouldn't be able to go and get things along that line unless you go and put your post control up, for example. And then they'll notice, as you notice, back down Punisher is no longer available unless you are above a 65 for that score. But not too much in detail on everything like that. I'm just going to go through and fill these categories out fast. You guys are kind of getting a little bit of the point that I was talking about on how each of them go that way. The other major change that I would put, so if you look here, a max speed with ball, max ball handle. If you notice, our quick first step is still at gold, and it's not a Hall of Fame. That's because of your height thing. There is still certain restrictions on your height that can kind of determine whether or not you're able to get certain badges as well. Quick first step is the major one that I've noticed that's a big difference for most of you guys that play the game. The other thing is that is different in this builder, certain categories are kind of paired together. So what I mean by that is if you notice the vertical at a 70, with up here, so we have that maxed out at a 92 and my vertical's at a 70. That's because in order to have that high of a driving dunk, your vertical has to be up that high as well. As you go and start to decrease it, you can only have a max certain level for your driving dunk. There's a couple other categories that are paired that way. Your strength has something in common with your interior defense, and then that's just the major two sets for ones that have to be paired with something is vertical and strength when it comes to certain categories. As you guys probably noticed, we have our main categories through here, but the major difference is physicals. This year, it's not as your overall gets better. It's based off of whether or not you take the time to fill out the pie chart in the physicals tray. So that is a really cool feature, but also some people might see that as a negative because you have to worry about allocating points for that. In my personal opinion, though, you can have a guy be a freak athlete but not be able to do other things. And the worst part was, like, let's say you're going for an absolute dunker and a great athlete, but you had to wait until he was a 95 or a 97 overall to have him be a decent speed to go and do stuff like that. Now you can just go and make sure that your dude's potential for speed, acceleration, strength, vertical is all done roughly right away, or as soon as you'd like to go and put the attributes or overall towards it. But moving forward, after you kind of got a little idea on this, you guys can go mess around and figure that stuff out. You have to get it to a 95. As you notice, like, I couldn't add any to this category, but I can add one here. Like I said, all the point totals are kind of weighted different based off your position. And the final thing that is different this year compared to current gen is you can pick 2 takeovers. Now, how the takeover works is very similar to team takeover. And what I mean by that is whatever the first one you pick will be the first one you unlock. So let's say we go with pull-up precision, okay? Our second one, whatever we decide to go with, based off of like these options, and you notice they all have different things that they do in specific skill sets. You guys can kind of check that out on your own and get a feel for it. But your second one, how it takes place is you would get your takeover for the first one, right? Have it filled out. And then you know how previous before you'd have that little bit of room to go get your team takeover. Well, now it's another slot to go and get your additional takeover. So I'd have pull-up precision and my ankle breaking shots if you decide to get your double takeover, which is really cool. To kind of finish up the video and wrap it out though, I'm just going to go and move forward so you guys can see what this build ends up coming out to as that stuff. It's nothing in particular, but it's just showing what it comes up as and what's the next step. Offensive threat, similar to Steve Nash, Jamal Murray, and D'Angelo Russell. I mean, obviously, we're just going through as a dummy video as an examples of stuff to go and look for and look at. Well, I want to take the time and tell you guys thank you so much for watching the video. I'm re-releasing more of them because I generally am enjoying doing this again on the new builder, and I think it's very fun. The more people that get their PlayStation 5 consoles, the more people we're going to have out here to play, and I'm really looking forward to that. But thanks for you guys this time. Stay blessed, stay smooth, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Peace, y'all.